caucus members had some concerns with the version of the tax reform reduction package we passed last year, and I want to give a lot of credit to all these caucus members because they reached out to the leadership reached back to them. We had many discussions last fall, last winter, early spring, in how could we address all of the concerns that people had in the tax reform reduction package from last year, and how could we put forth bills this year where the caucus could be unified. You saw the first two results of that long but very positive, important process earlier this year when we passed out two House bills with 108 Republican votes. The entire caucus that we have right now, unanimous. And our goal is to do the best we can to reach unanimity on the Senate bill here today. So I want to give credit to the floor leader for helping us get to this point as well. He's an instrumental part of this process. I want to thank all my colleagues for being so willing to be engaged in this and bring forth something that is not only good for and shows the unanimity of our caucus, but I truly believe, and we truly believe, will make Missouri a better place to live, work, raise a family, provide the business climate we need for more growth, opportunity, and prosperity.
Good, thanks. And to echo what the speaker said, we were able over these past few months to unify our caucus on the tax cut issue. And really one of the key components of this is just a much simpler bill that doesn't complicate sales tax issues with income tax issues. This is a simple bill. It provides triggers. It has a phase-in period. And so, these arguments that you hear that it's going to cut into future funding for this program or this program or this program is bogus. These tax cuts do not kick in unless and until revenue increases over where it is today. And what this bill does, it provides a longer phase-in period. It does not kick in until 2017, and then it cuts income tax rates after that gradually from 6% down to 5.5% over a 5-year period, but only if additional $150 million triggers are met. It also has a pass-through for small businesses, LLCs, sole proprietorships that file, I believe it's a Schedule C on their federal income tax return that provides a deduction for that at 25%. We've had the different proposals floating around, but this is a good compromise. The Senate was able to get out. We're willing to live with that. It's our intent to try to get this to the governor's desk clean. We've got the commitment, I believe, of most, if not all, of our caucus to see this through to the veto, and the speaker and I will have to go to work on a couple Democrats. So that's our plan on this. I think it's a good bill, and it's going to be good for the Missouri taxpayers.
Do you have any anticipate? I know some amendments have been filed. Do you have any Phil wrong side?
Oh, I'll bet on it going out clean, but we got to get to the floor and we'll see what happens. Just like any bill that sits on a calendar, particularly something of this magnitude, it attracts some flies, and so we've had some discussions with the offers of the amendments, and we'll see how that goes.
Representative Walker or someone else who voted against it in the last round, to override, what made this one acceptable to you?
Well, this is a much better bill. It's a much simpler bill, and the other bill had a couple of tax increases in it, and that was my concern with the pharmaceutical. I support this bill. As soon as we had the veto session, most of this group here met several times. I talked to the speaker several times, and so this is a good bill. I'm going to support it, and I think will move our economy and move our state forward. And so I have no problems with this bill, and I intend to support it, and I intend to support an override of a veto if there is a veto.
If I could just ask the rest of you here too, would you also commit to support a veto override if that's necessary? Let's see a show of hands. Anyone not willing to do that? For radio.
So anyway, we got to get to this vote today, and we'll worry about the next steps after that.
Do you have some Democrats to work on?
Singled out? In the past, we have had Democratic members support tax reductions, and I think it's because they also understand the economics of it, especially being here in the Midwest with 8 bordering states, looking at what some of our other bordering states have done. When they have lowered taxes, they have incentivized growth. They have increased their budgets. They have been able to add funding for education, for healthcare. Our nation's history shows that as well. Whether it was when President Kennedy cut taxes or President Reagan, we saw explosive growth in our nation's economy following those serious tax reductions. So Democrats and Republicans have stood together over the course of history in favor of tax reductions, because if you do it right, and we believe this bill is a much simpler bill that addresses that issue square on without any of the distracting arguments that were thrown at it last year, you can increase growth in your economy, and that's what we believe this bill will do.
One of the things the governor's particularly singled out is the business pass-through exemption. He said he doesn't like that. Why is that essential, and why is that good to be part of the
Well,
bill?
one, because it's for small businesses. I mean, the backbone of our economy are small businesses. It's the mom and pop stores on Main Street. It's the people who run business out of their homes. It's the people who run the small businesses and employ more people in this state than the large businesses do. I can't speak as to why the governor opposes it. It seems like no matter what bill that's brought up, he opposes something in that bill. Yet you can never get him to the table to actually negotiate on an actual bill that's realistic to pass. He wants to expand the playing field, where it makes it impossible to pass a tax cut bill, or nitpick on stuff in a smaller bill. We want a smaller, simpler bill that clearly identifies what the tax cut issues are, what the dollars are, and who it affects.
Is your plan to bring it up to override during session, or do you still want to wait
That
until?
would be our plan.
Assuming the governor vetoes it. And again, we don't really know.
We did this a few years ago on the maps, if you recall. So there's a window. If it gets to his desk, then he would have to veto it or sign it during session, and there's a window for us to deal with it. So, okay, there you go.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you all very much for being here. Appreciate it.